Coming from CNBC, Chinese AI models are gaining ground with US companies as OpenAI Anthropic costs surge. So I think this is an interesting story to take a look at in the modern world with the macro forces going on, where it's the United States versus China in this AI war. And one of the problems that you run into is when your politicians decide that countries should be, antagonistic towards each other, but the citizenry of the countries they just haven't gotten the memo. They are just not so concerned. And I think this is kind of an interesting thing to be thinking about with, the whole US China thing. So, one of the things we hear a lot about is that China is trying to crack down on US GPUs and US hardware getting into China. The idea is that the Chinese government wants to focus on domestic manufacturing of AI hardware, and so they don't want to be purchasing our H20s anymore or H200s or a lot of this technology that we are trying to sell them. The idea is no, the Chinese companies should go with a homegrown technology. And what's interesting is that you still see a lot of Chinese organizations and Chinese companies still trying to get their hands on NVIDIA hardware, right? They have the institutional knowledge of understanding how to support the NVIDIA stack. They know how to code for CUDA. There's a whole bunch of reasons out there that individuals within China would still want to use NVIDIA equipment, even if China as a country wants to not use NVIDIA equipment. One of the interesting things here in the United States, right, is we are told continuously on a daily basis to be scared of China. Why? Still not quite sure. I don't know. Uyghurs, Tiananmen Square, Taiwan, whole bunch of stuff that's not my problem, to be honest with you. But anyways, we are told day in and day out to be really scared of China. The issue is, especially in a capitalist country, is that when companies go out to purchase equipment, to purchase resources, one of the big things they're going to look at is what is the cost that they're going to be paying. So what is the quality of the resource that they're going to get, and what is the cost going to be? And so if you look at a lot of startup companies, one of the things you have to think about is when they get investment, that investment gives them what is called a runway. So basically, the idea is they have to get their little plane off the ground, their little startup off the ground before it hits the trees, right? So they have an amount of money that they can burn through. That's that investment round, and hopefully that will get them to the next investment round, the next investment round, the next investment round, so on and so forth. And so one of the issues going on right now is that every investor wants to invest in an AI company. I've talked to a buddy of mine recently. One of the issues he was talking about in the tech sector right now for startups is basically the investors only want to invest in AI. They don't want to invest in anything else. They're just right. You got to shove AI into your company somehow. So one of the issues is these companies have to shove AI into their startups have to shove AI into their companies one way or the other, and the cost for American AI is going through the roof for any number of reasons. Whether it's the reasoning, basically these reasoning models burn a lot more tokens than the older models did, and then you have agentic systems that burn even more. And the problem that you get into is the cost just gets to be too expensive for a lot of these startups to run on the American stack. And so here's the thing, I'm just going to put this on the table. So when it gets to be too expensive to run on American technology, I wonder whose technology you purchase. Chinese technology, of course. You do what we've been doing for the past 30 years. Oh, I really would like to buy that American product. I just don't have enough money for it. So I'll go buy the Chinese product, right? We have seen this story before. And so with startup companies, with other tech companies, right, they can go and they can use Chinese models. And the Chinese models, even if they're connecting with an API, so they're actually using the Chinese services, it's a fraction of the cost, right? You know, uh, DeepSeek is something like 5 times cheaper than OpenAI is. Some of the services that some of these Chinese companies are providing are 10x, and I've even heard 20x cheaper than what's being provided in the United States. And so the curious thing is that the American companies are going and buying the services from China. And I think this is also one of the interesting things. Like, I've been talking a lot about the whole idea of the American AI stack or the Western AI stack and the Chinese AI stack. And one of the things that I brought up many times is the whole idea is what if I was an Argentinian CIO? What if I was a Spanish CIO or a South African CTO? What is my risk tolerance for the insanity going on right now with the American AI stack, right? Where we see export restrictions, they come and they go kind of willy-nilly, right? We saw with Anthropic, where the Trump administration is just trying to punch Dario. All the Trump administration wants to do right now is really punch Dario, right? And so that's where we saw Mythos 5 and Fable 5 get restricted in 90 minutes, right? These models went from being accessible to being gone, right? What if your company had waited to get access to those models in order to do something very revolutionary for your customers or whatever else? You get access to it, you start deploying the workflows, you're just working, 20 hours a day to try to implement everything, and then your access to Anthropic gets pulled in 90 minutes. And one of the things I've been talking about, right? If you are that CIO in Vietnam, c- can you take that risk to worry about dealing with the American stack? One of the things that gets left out of that particular conversation, though, is if you're an American CIO, CTO, can you take that risk? At what point does the AI stack become unviable for American technology companies to use? And so many times when we hear about American technology companies, we hear about the big ones, right? The Microsofts of the world, the Amazons of the world, the Googles of the world, right? And they're not trying to piss off Trump, right? They are on bended knees, slobbering on Trump's ring because they have a lot of regulatory approvals that they need to get rubber stamped, right? They need tariffs to come down and the whole nine yards. But think about how many other like smaller companies out there that are basically just under the radar, right? They may have a tech staff of 100 people or maybe 1,000 people, right? They're building internal technology projects and that type of deal, but they're running out of money. They're running out of time. They're worried, right? Not only, again, with the Mythos and the Fable 5 model, not only were South Africans not able to use those models, but Americans weren't able to use those models. And so what happens when American tech CIOs can no longer stomach the risk of the American AI stack? And I think that's the interesting thing to take a look at with this, right? The Chinese models gaining ground on US companies. The share of tokens used by US companies on Chinese AI models via Open Router has sat above 30% each week since February 8th, with the figure rising as high as 46%. The average across the previous 12 months was just 11%, falling to 4.5% in the first half of 2025. So this gives us a little chart, basically through Open Router, shows basically the Chinese models being used. And what we can see here, if we come down here, January of 2025, oh, I don't know, you're sitting there at somewhere between 4.5 to 2% of the models being used by people going through Open Router are Chinese models. And then that spikes up to like 10%. This is probably when new things were coming out with China, people were experimenting with it. And then it's like, Chinese not so good. And then it drops down. And there was a big spike here. Maybe it's not so good and then it drops down. But what you're noticing here, right? So right here, this is January of 2026. And since January 2026, over the past 6 months, it's just been going up and up and up and up. Again, it's got some zigzags up here, but even the zigzags, even when it comes down, it's now still above 30%, and then it gets up there very close to 50%. So this is American companies going through Open Router to access Chinese models. And this is the problem. This is the problem that we're running into with the insane policies the insane economics that we're dealing with right now as far as American artificial intelligence. Literally, the macro environment is getting so bad that even American tech companies are going to use the Chinese stuff. Which, at that point, I'm just really not sure how we win this war. One, we're not in a war. To be clear, we're not in a war. This isn't a war. But let's just say it was a war. If this was a war, I'm not sure how this works. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. So what do you think about this? What do you think about American companies now pushing up utilization of the Chinese AI stack? When you take a look at this chart, do you think down here, again for 2025, do you think this was because of security concerns or propaganda that the usage went up, it spiked up, but then it dropped down again? Or do you think it's just where Chinese artificial intelligence was at the time? DeepSeek may have been good, right? 2025 DeepSeek may have been good, but maybe frankly it wasn't good enough. Now we start getting into 2026, and as I've talked about before, even if the models, Chinese models, are behind, they're now good enough that people can actually use them, and the price point makes more and more sense. Where do you think this whole disaster is gonna go? I don't know. I don't know. As I say, I don't read between the lines. I just read what's on the page. I know, it's amazing. Modern world, like what? He just reads what's on the page? Insane. So what do you think about this? Put your comments in the comment section down below. If you like these episodes, do remember they're on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Link is down below. Also, if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. And with that, see y'all later.